The best day.
All right. Hello and welcome to Purposeful Pressure. I'm your host, Renee, and I have a beautiful, amazing guest with us today. Could you please introduce yourself?
Absolutely. My name is Lisa Pugh. I joined the Air Force in 1987 while my
Mhm.
son was 5 months old. I had a tremendous career as aircraft maintenance technician,
Oh,
uh,
wow.
almost 28 years. So enjoying life. I absolutely enjoyed my career. There were a lot
Oh,
of bumps and a lot of different things happening, especially for a woman in a men's career or job.
oh, I can imagine. All right. So let's get into it, Lisa.
Okay.
All right. So, what was your initial decision for joining the military, and did it change over the course of your career?
Sure. My initial decision was to join the Air Force. Like I said, I had a 5-year-old or a 5-month-old, I'm sorry, at home. I'd been married for about 2 years, so a young family. I was
Mhm.
looking for stability and medical coverage, basically, for my family. And because I had joined after a year of college, 3 years as a telephone operator, I was already 23 years old. So I wanted also a career. I wanted to be able to retire from a job. And the job that I had prior to, I was um, a telephone operator.
Mhm.
My heart and my core told me maintenance because I like to work with my hands and I like
Mhm.
to work through problems. So I wanted to be an aircraft maintainer as well. Um, so that's primarily why I joined. So my initial decision for joining really didn't change a whole lot. I just kind of fine-tuned it, I guess. You
Mhm. Yeah, I like that. Did you experience a sense of purpose and value during your career?
I absolutely did.
Yeah.
Um, I learned to cope with all kinds of things. Learned, obviously aircraft maintenance,
Yeah.
dealing with heavy maintenance, dealing with um, prejudice, dealing
Oh.
with discrimination.
Hmm.
Um, but definitely I felt value in to where I had my goals and I knew where I wanted to go and what I wanted to do. And I
Hmm.
tried to make my career on my terms and
Yeah.
not have it placed upon me.
Hmm.
Um, so
Yeah, that's
yeah.
really good. Okay, next. I would like for you to fill in the blank. Unmasking a soldier's struggle through what?
So I'm going to modify that just a little bit.
Okay.
As a female aircraft maintenance in a men's career,
Mm-hmm.
I unmasked prejudice. I
Ooh.
unmasked discrimination. Um, and so,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
yeah, I felt all of that.
Uh,
And basically, I'm still kind of healing from that.
oh, wow.
I worked through my entire career, though, trying to be self-reliant, dedicated. I was
Yeah.
extremely dedicated to my job.
Mm-hmm.
So, always being kind of pushed down without a voice, without being able to be equal as the airman sitting next to me, or,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
I
it was
see.
quite a challenge.
Yeah.
But it's something that I felt when I was a telephone operator too, because I really wanted to be in the maintenance side, and they put me
Mm-hmm.
as a telephone operator.
Yeah. So did you do the full 28 years as aircraft maintenance?
Whoops, sounds like kind of broke up a little bit. I actually, I was going to stay in for 20 years, was one
Mm-hmm.
of my goals, and then retire as a staff sergeant or a tech sergeant,
Yeah.
be happy. I stayed 28 years and rose through the ranks of Chief Master Sergeant in the maintenance career field,
Mm-hmm.
which there was really nobody else that had done that
Yeah.
at the time.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that is awesome. Next, fill in the blank. I am healing from what?
Whoops.
You're still here. I can hear you.
Okay. Um, I'm sorry, can you repeat that one?
Yes, fill in the blank. I am healing from. What would you say you're healing from throughout your
Oh,
career?
oh yeah, I am I'm still kind of healing from the discrimination. I'm
Mm-hmm.
healing from trying to not only for myself as I moved up through the ranks, um, helping other women,
Mm-hmm.
maintain their goals and their ambitions. And I'm still to this day, the punishment that a maintenance career field causes on a woman's body. We're
Oh
still
yeah.
designed differently,
Mm-hmm.
even though I was, fulfilling the job the same as my counterparts. And a lot of times, maybe even more because I always felt that I had something to prove.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I
healing
get
from
that.
those internal and external, so I'm still kind of working on that. I've got a lot of metal in my body.
Yeah, that's great. Thinking over your career, what is a valuable lesson you think you've learned?
Um, yeah, thinking over my full career, one valuable lesson that I learned was to never let down my guard
Hmm.
and show no fear and no pain.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of an example of growing up between two brothers.
Mm-hmm.
I had to be, and I had to be depend on myself to get what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that was no different when I joined the Air Force. That helped me out at the lower ranks. Um, but this principle guided me through the challenges and the transitions, allowing me to maintain my composure and my resilience
Mm-hmm.
in the face of adversity.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever, whether dealing with discrimination, adjusting to new roles, or facing the uncertainties of deployment, this lesson became a cornerstone of my military ethos.
Oh, wow. I like that answer. I like that you said that not to let your guard down. And it's like, okay, after year five, did you feel comfortable to where you can do that? Or after year 10, since you had the same job, many people don't have the same job throughout the military. So it's really surprising that you said that even throughout all those years, you still had to be mindful. Hey, I cannot let my guard down. So yeah, that's really surprising. Next.
And if I could
Uh,
interject there, the
yes,
main
please.
reason, I'm sorry, the main reason that you can never let your guard down is because being a female deployed or even in the work area, there was sexual issues.
Mm-hmm.
And so I never let my guard down. In other words, if I deployed or I went on a temporary duty assignment, I never drank. I didn't party with others. I reserved that only for home because that was where some of my coworkers and stuff, later on, ran into issues. So
Mm-hmm.
I learned never let my guard down,
Mm-hmm.
whoever it was. And then again, never show fear or pain. Because if
Mm-hmm.
you showed pain, they're like, oh yeah, you're just a girl, you can't deal with it.
Mm-hmm. I could imagine. So it was just like a blessing for you to get all the way, to the end. That's a blessing.
Yeah.
I would assume you've encountered some special leaders and managers along the way. Can you share an example of a positive impression one left on you and a substandard impression one left on you?
Sure, absolutely. The way we grow is through our leaders, our
Mm-hmm.
peers, our mentors. And the military is really no different. You have to choose. So the one that I learned the most from was when I was a young staff sergeant, so very new at being an NCO.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I didn't have any other female role models to look up to. As a matter of fact, my very first unit, I was only two women of a 450 squadron unit of men. So I really didn't have anybody else to look up to.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. However, on my third duty assignment, like I said, as a young staff sergeant, I met my first sergeant through, maybe some minor issues. Because like I said, I
We won't get
never
into that,
let
huh?
anybody push me around.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, I raised a little eyebrows and attention at times, but
Mm-hmm.
I felt that that's what I needed to do. So yeah, I was minor issues and dedicated to making my first role model. My first sergeant, his leadership style and compassionate yet firm, he demonstrated an unwavering commitment to his team, basically our unit. I observed his interaction and decision making, and I learned a lot of the importance of empathy, which I hadn't really felt any empathy up to that point in my
Mm-hmm.
career. Um, so he made that known, the empathy and leadership and the necessity of balancing personal integrity with professional duty.
Mm-hmm.
He made a positive impression on me by showing the effective leadership could transcend gender barriers and inspire those around him. So until then, I'd never had anybody to look up to. I never even met a chief until, that time.
Yeah. And
So that first sergeant went on
how long had you been in by the time you met him?
9 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, pretty
Mhm.
crazy, huh?
Yeah.
Um, but that first sergeant I interacted with from the time that I was in the Air Force for 9 years all the way to and past retirement, I'm still in contact as a leader and a mentor. He went on to become the Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force,
Oh,
which is
mhm.
the highest enlisted position
Right.
in the Air Force,
Mhm.
period. So I kind of picked a good chief to follow.
Yeah. Yeah. And what was the opposite impression that one may have left upon you?
Absolutely. There was a lot of those in my career. Some of them I challenged very well.
Mhm.
The last one I didn't. Um, and that person was my last commander. So he completely demolished everything I set out to accomplish and
Mhm.
put women in the back seat without a voice and without being seen. Um, I was upset at myself for not standing up to him because I knew that it was wrong, but I felt personally hurt, which I usually never let that allow. I never allowed that to interfere with my job and taking care of others. Um, Feeling as though also that I had let my unit down. So my other airmen who were looking up to me and the other women who might not have even been there at that time, but I know who was possibly following me.
Yeah.
And I failed to advocate for the women. Um, yeah, that hopefully was following in my footsteps until I became a senior master sergeant. I didn't even think about any of that being a trail blazer or anything like that.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
wasn't until, close to the end of my
Yeah.
retirement when I looked at it, oh, maybe I did make an impact.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I believe you did. And sometimes when you think about it, it can still sting a little bit just thinking about, everything that you went through.
Yeah, absolutely. It does. Still stings.
Yeah. So the military caused some challenges in your life. How did you face them? Was it through faith? Was it through mentors? Or was it just you relying on yourself or self-encouraging yourself? How did you face those hard times?
Well, primarily, just like when I came in the Air Force, I had some goals and I set challenges for myself. So that kind of helped me stay focused. And then every now and then I would just, shake out those goals and see if I could do even better. But I faced my maintenance and my personal challenges in the Air Force with the help of my husband.
Hmm.
Like I said, I was married before I came in the Air Force, um, and he's my soulmate, my better half, and he's also the ear that listened and would give me personal, focus. Say,
Hmm.
well, this isn't what you're setting out to do.
Yeah.
You need to look at it. So he
Hmm.
was my sounding board. But
Yeah.
I also had a lot of self-reliance because there was a lot of things that I couldn't discuss with my husband
Hmm. Right.
or anybody else because if you're not in the military, it's a language that's not understood.
Hmm.
So and then I also focused, like I said, on my goals and my dedication.
Hmm.
Later, I focused that into education as well.
Yeah.
Basically, these qualities, I believe that these qualities help me navigate the complexities of the military life,
Hmm.
from managing aircraft maintenance to balancing my career progression.
Hmm. I like that. And then one thing I just wanted to bring back up, I don't know if you meant to say it, but what you did say is I set challenges for myself. And most people would say, yeah, I had some goals that I wanted to, reach. So that was like a little nugget that I'm going to take away from this. You set challenges. That's really different. It's a really
Well,
different answer than
yeah,
what I'm used to. Hmm.
sure. And I can piggyback on that just a little bit.
Yeah.
I actually sat down and I would write everything and I would put a time frame. This challenge is going to take this. And so I put sub challenges under that challenge to be able to make that challenge.
Hmm.
And I would put strict timelines. One of my, and then I would go through and check to see where I was at
Hmm.
so that either I needed to readjust, address that challenge if it's not, challenging enough, or maybe I surpassed that challenge and I need to move on to another challenge.
Hmm.
And I used that throughout my entire Air Force career. So I was not only challenged by my leaders and my peers, I had self-challenge, I put a lot of, I guess, a lot of stress and stuff on myself for that because I wanted to make sure that I was kind of goal centered in
Hmm.
where I was going and what I was doing. So yeah, I became an instructor because I wanted to
Yeah,
teach
teacher.
others,
Yep.
and I enjoyed touching others,
Hmm.
and I wanted to get a little bit of feel of public communication and writing, teaching.
Hmm.
That wasn't, I'm a social introvert. It was a difficult step for me and I almost didn't do it.
Hmm.
But my first year, I had to get my associate's degree in order to be an instructor while I was teaching.
Hmm.
So I completed, I think it was 34 credit hours
Hmm.
testing out of all the classes and getting my associate's degree.
That's really good. So
And
you
I
do have
surprised
your
them.
hands in other things besides just aircraft maintenance.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know that. So yeah.
Yeah, that was a one of my highlights was being an instructor and being able to
Hmm.
work one-on-one with these young airmen just coming into our Air Force,
Hmm.
being able to show them that the ethos and the empathy and the leadership and dedication like my first sergeant did to me.
Yeah,
So,
that's
and
beautiful.
progress my career at the same time.
I love that, Lisa. Yep. So what was your biggest disappointment and your biggest success, if you have either?
Oh, I have both. Um, I kind of referred to it a little bit earlier. My biggest
Hmm.
disappointment was with myself. So I went through my career fully dedicated to learning leadership, caring for everyone in my charge. So um, I'm not sure if you've seen the ranks. It's kind of like a couple little ranks and then a couple little stripes, and then you've got the ranks that go under those, they're
Right,
rocker bars, and then you've got the ones that are on top.
right.
And I went through my career that if you've got those on top, you are overseeing and making sure that all the ranks below you are filling to their highest expectations and
Yes.
positions, and taking care of them. And part of taking care of them is being a shield
Mm-hmm.
from other people that want to disrupt their life and not take care of them properly, like officers and people would interject into your airmen.
Mm-hmm.
And I was that shield.
I
When
like
they would
that.
come down with a lot of taskers, I would say, let me pick the airmen for that, or
Mm-hmm.
who's going to do that, because I would marry it up with their ambitions and their um, what they want to do, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe they could move on to something they didn't see in their self, but what I saw,
Yeah.
and enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
um,
I like that covering.
so
Mm-hmm.
my downfall for that was, um, I relaxed my guard, assuming my commander was focused on his squadron that I
Mm-hmm.
was taking care of for him and my airmen.
Mm-hmm.
Commander's focus was on the good old boys network,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
um, and getting women out of the squadron. I saw him start picking off my lieutenant, who I was trying to mentor and bring up through the ranks. Sorry about that.
You're fine.
And yeah, I thought his focus was kind of the same as mine,
Mm-hmm.
to bring everybody forward and not bring people down. Um, I beat myself up for years, and I should have stepped up for fellow women and
Mm-hmm.
myself. I tried, and every time I kept getting hit down. But I felt like I let myself down and my unit down.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then I retired.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was towards the end of your career. Yeah.
Yes, it
Mm-hmm.
was.
Okay.
So it was kind of a disappointing end to, I think, a very great career.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So next we're going to go to another side. So what was your biggest concern facing separation and how did you get through that?
Yeah, my biggest concern facing that separation was making a living
Yeah.
with the same with my goals and my purpose again. It was kind of difficult to make those goals and my purpose in life again because I had worked so hard as aircraft maintenance that my body was tired. It was
Mm-hmm.
hurting all the time. Um, so what I did is I worked on retaining my skills. Like I said, since my body didn't want to follow those particular skills and I couldn't return to maintenance, I
Mm-hmm.
returned to the same fears that I faced when I joined the Air Force. Um, I didn't have the skill set, and I couldn't see at the time the big picture and how I was going to take care of my family,
Mm-hmm.
which by this time my son had graduated and joined the Air Force. So I was pretty proud of him,
Mm-hmm.
following in his mom's footsteps.
Mm-hmm.
But I still had my husband, and myself. I wanted to enjoy life, but I wanted to
Yeah.
find a good job. So
Mm-hmm.
I went back to school, and that's where I met you, and we worked on the human resource management aspect of it. I
Yep.
got my bachelor's in management, and then I went on to working on my master's in human resource management because that was a good part of my career, taking care of others and making sure that they were taken care of properly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was my thought process too. I wanted to get into a field where I could help in areas where I wasn't helped in. Yeah.
Yeah.
hmm so I guess you kind of already touched on it, as far as you having struggles reintegrating yourself into the civilian life
Oh, yeah.
after separation. So yeah, we touched on that. If you could have changed anything and brought awareness to any issue or any topic, what would it have been?
Well, I'm still very passionate about
Mm-hmm.
this topic. Um, Women veterans' rights and their
Mm-hmm.
voices to be seen as a fellow um, military member,
Mm-hmm.
to be recognized as I got out of the Air Force as a veteran.
Mm-hmm.
And people look at a car and they might see that tag,
Mm-hmm.
on the back that says a combat veteran.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And
I
they
want to tell you,
automatically assume it's your husband
they
all
automatically
the
assume it's my
time.
husband.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so it took me quite a few years to even accept that I was a female veteran. So my passion is connecting other female veterans to the benefits that they deserved,
Yeah.
that they
Mm-hmm.
earned, and accepting themselves as a woman veteran, going
Mm-hmm.
out and talking to others and uplifting maybe some of the young girls that um, they don't see themselves as being able to do that,
Mm-hmm. I
but
like
giving
that.
them the knowledge and your experiences to be able to basically surpass what any
Mm-hmm.
of us have done
Yeah.
in the military or
Mm-hmm.
in their life.
Yeah.
Because it's at that point, it's not just um, it is about military, but it's also about what you do with the knowledge, the experience that you learned, and being able to pass that on to others.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm an active member in um, the women veterans health care.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've assisted in making a lot of different changes in that realm. I
Mm-hmm.
work directly with the state of Alaska leaders at all levels, Congress, senators,
Yeah.
um, and my education has helped me to be able to promote those communications.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that
I
that
I
I'm
love
passionate
that.
about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
I
I
can
belong
tell.
to a lot of other groups as women veterans groups as well
Mm-hmm.
and
And
speak.
I didn't even like put two and two together because sometimes even we don't even recognize ourselves as, women veterans,
Hmm.
and I said that because like on Veterans Day or something, when we go out or whatever, they always look to the man first, oh, thank you for your service. And then, my husband is nice enough. Oh, it was my wife, and it's just
Yeah,
like that mentality is still here years later where even, the peers, they don't even recognize you as um, a veteran who is a woman, so
yeah,
that has been really tough in just accepting, yeah, that's part of my life. That is who I am.
yeah, exactly.
So I like that. Next, what is one moment you will always remember throughout your career?
Yeah, one that was most impactful as well. I'll never, the event was a car accident, and
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't sound too bad, but I'd only been home from Afghanistan a couple days. I was sent to Afghanistan to investigate an aircraft mishap. So I had to tear down and find out what caused this multi-million-dollar mishap on a 6-month-old aircraft. Um, so yeah, I'd only been home a couple days and I was heading from Afghanistan to my house to the base where the aircraft was, taken care of, where it was owned, so that I could go take care of the investigative work, doing all the paperwork, going through all the
Mm-hmm.
documentation, um, and interviewing everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But on the way, after we got off the airplane to go to the hotel, we got in a really bad car accident.
Mm-hmm.
So my life was turned upside down. My body was screaming in pain. I was traumatized, trying to um,
Figure
comprehend
it
what had
out. Mm-hmm.
happened and where I was at and what I was doing. Um, However, professionalism and duty required my attention to the investigation. So basically, this left me unable to internalize my situation and it left me unable to work through it. I was with this team for a couple more months while we worked on the investigation. After only a few hours of rest, I was required to perform all these duties that I told you about. I got a couple hours of very short rest, had to get back up in full service dress uniform. So, all my blues in a skirt, maintenance doesn't wear skirts, but I was in a skirt because I was representing the four-star general who appointed me to do this task. So, yeah, I throughout the rest of my career, I was challenged with um, the physical pain, which I still have, and the PTSD from being slammed into, flipped,
Mhm.
spun. You know, um, there's nothing like looking at your belly button when you're trying to get out of a car.
Mhm. Yeah.
So,
Well, thank
it,
God for your life and the lives of the other people that were with you as well.
oh yes.
Mhm.
And I was very attentive to the other two occupants in the vehicle, making sure that they were okay and, that they could get out. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, this one incident
We'll
prevented
stick
me
with you.
from
Hmm.
deploying because I was unable to deploy because I had an ACL tear, I had a shoulder tear, I had neck issues, I had all this other stuff going on. So after a few years, after several surgeries, a few years of rehabilitation, I continued my goals. And I was actually able, once I was totally rehabilitated, I was actually able to make Chief Master Sergeant.
Hmm.
But my mental and physical issues persisted throughout the rest of my career.
Hmm. Yep, I can only imagine in the what that job required of you and how you had to continue. You had to make a mental effort and a spiritual effort to continue to move forward, blow after blow, obstacle after obstacle. You kept moving forward.
Yeah, it was difficult at times, especially
Hmm.
when we had to do our physical training
Hmm.
because I was in a mobile unit, so we had to do physical training 3 times a week. So after the 2 months of that, I had to return to the physical training, and a as a leader,
Yep.
um, I still had to perform, and
Right.
I was running on an ACL that was gone, and my
Hmm.
left knee was just completely shot, but I was still running. I didn't have my first surgery till 5 months after the car accident.
Yep. And you were still expected to do just as well as you did before all this happened.
That's right.
Yep. Hmm. Okay. So, summarizing it up, if you could summarize your entire career in one word or one phrase, what would that be?
I represent and I represented women, um, let's see, combat veteran women in the military. And I was extremely proud of being able to lend my voice to enhance others
Hmm.
so they wouldn't make the same mistakes
Hmm.
and would continue and lift our voices and make us heard and seen.
Hmm. I love that. Yeah, comeback women veterans. Yep, love it. Okay, well, this is the end of our session. I appreciate you for being so honest with me, so real with me, and just letting it all air out. Hopefully one day down the road we can meet again on another topic. Hint, hint. But yes, I appreciate your time, Lisa, and I appreciate your empathy. And I just thank you for sharing your experience with me.
Absolutely. It's worth every minute of it, and it's worth allowing others to understand maybe just a very
Yeah.
small picture of
Hmm. Snippet. Hmm.
what it's like.
Yeah.